Hi everyone, my name is WhitneyTramell, and I'm here to talk to you and talk through what anti-literacy laws were. So, according to Dr. Smith, in 1849, the General Assembly of the Commonwealth of Virginia passed a series of anti-literacy laws. A portion of this law stated that if a white person assembled with Negroes for the purpose of instructing them to read or write, then he or she shall be confined in jail not exceeding 6 months and not to be fined exceeding $100. So, really, what does that mean? What did that mean at the time? At the time, it means anybody that tried to approach, let me rephrase, any white person that tried to help with anything regarding literacy, reading, or writing for any black individual at this time would be facing jail time and would face up to $100 fine, which at the time was a lot of money. So we have to ask ourselves, why? Why would it be so necessary that we limit their access to literacy? So, like I just asked, what is the point of this law? Well, at the time, the goal of these anti literacy laws was really to limit the literacy of those in slavery. Now, that's how some people really kind of interpreted that law, but really that's who they were targeting the most. The school of thought was that if those in slavery could not read, then they couldn't gain education. They wouldn't be able to provide for themselves, and that would prevent them from written communication with one another, so they couldn't work together against those who kept them enslaved. The short way to put this is control. At the time, there was still a need, or there was a felt need, to control what these individuals had access to. And by taking away the most basic basis of education, then they were able to confine these individuals and limit what they could and could not do for themselves. Something as simple as passing a note to another person, or being able to read that note that was shared. By limiting literacy, these individuals, they couldn't communicate with each other any way other than spoken. They had no way to kind of be sneaky or try to uh, kind of support themselves or find a way to carefully communicate with one another to try to find a way out of slavery. So that leads to the question, why couldn't freed individuals then be allowed access to literacy? Well, literacy was still withheld from free men as another form of control, essentially. The idea here was that if we educate those who have been freed, then it would still encourage those that were enslaved to want to learn as well. And they just didn't want that to happen. It would make more individuals seek freedom, and it would lead I say individuals, more people that were enslaved from wanting to do more and find more and do better for themselves. By limiting even those who were freed from being able to gain literacy, they are still controlling every black individual in this time. Which leads to the last question. Is this a godly perspective? Well, we can look to John chapter 13, verse 34, and see that in God's word it says, "A new command I give you, love one another as I have loved you." So you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciple if you love one another. And I think by looking at these words from John chapter 13, we can easily say from God's commands that we, in fact, were not living his way for us and the way he wanted us to. God wanted us to show love to everyone, regardless of our background.